What's going on, guys? We're at the PCA Expo 2025 in Colorado Springs, and I'm here with Justin. How have you find the PCA so far?
Man, I did not know what to expect. Like, I've been to some other painting events, like kind of pop-up events like PaintCon, things like that. This has been insane. Like what, how many painters are here?
It's like a good 1,000 or something.
Yeah. And just this building alone, like this is the hotel it's being hosted at, tons of different companies, different revenues. Some guys doing 20, 30, 40. There's some 100 million. The guys from Aussie, long hair guy, doing 100 million.
Yeah,
or 200 million. Yeah, crazy. Good knowledge. Yeah.
The reason I wanted to have you on was because I think a lot of people know you pretty much now as like the door-to-door king. You know, you've got your own painting company, so I'm definitely interested to see if we can share some value for people.
Yeah.
As well, because there's a lot of stuff that you've done. So I definitely want to get into your story. And obviously you're a successful partner of Tridas as well, so you've crushed it there, so we can touch on that. But yeah, man, do you want to introduce yourself for people that don't know you?
Yeah, so Justin Georgopoulos. I started my painting business about 4 years ago, going into our 5th year now. Before painting, I was working at a butcher shop. There was some scrap meat laying around. I was listening to audiobooks on self-development and running a business. So I started grinding the scrap meat in the back and created a dog food company where I'd go door to door with flyers to sell dog food. That didn't really work out, but the door-to-door skill was something that I started gaining. And I realized there's a massive gap, like in the industries of any industry, like no one's doing door-to-door anymore. It's all online. So worked for a window cleaning company, did some door-to-door, then joined a franchise for painting, did door-to-door there. And then we scaled the company to $1 million pretty quick in like the first 16 months, just knocking doors in the Canadian winters and building a team around it. So since then, combine that with online ads and all the different things I've learned from hiring other coaches and going to consulting programs, we're well on our way to do 10 million, I believe, in the next 2 years. So exciting.
How many guys have you got doing door-to-door right now?
So we got about 5 doing door-to-door, and then 2 others, we call them junior estimators. So they cold call all day and then go door-to-door. And then we have 5 estimators that all started as door-to-door reps. So door-to-door is a great way in your business to not only get leads, but to create like a kind of an ecosystem of younger guys coming in, learning the hard skill of door-to-door, and then transitioning them into estimators. And that's what we do. And we just create a breeding ground of these young, hungry guys coming in, knocking, and now they start selling and they're making over 6 figures coming out of, high school or university.
So the process you have is you recruit these guys, you bring them on as door-to-door, and then the good ones you slowly graduate into just full-time estimators.
100%.
Right.
And the culture is very competitive. So like guys will know that that's the next step, because when we onboard them, we share that with them. This is the journey of a sales rep. You're going to start learning the art of prospecting, and then you're going to get into closing or a leadership position. So they see that there's something more that helps us lower churn too, because now guys are knocking not just for their hourly wage and the bonuses they're getting leads, but to become a bigger part of the company. So really good way to get sales reps. I've hired experienced guys. They come in, they don't want to close on the spot. They don't handle the objections the right way. They blame the market for their lack of sales ability. So I'd rather find younger guys, train them the way I want, have coachable guys instead of retreads coming in. And then that's been working the best for us.
Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like when you spend that much time investing into your people and your team, they're also more likely to stick with you as well. Like, you're obviously big on building culture. And I think that's one of those things where if you want to move fast, a lot of people opt for just trying to find one with experience.
Yeah.
But then later down the line, they have to fuck around with the stuff that you've mentioned,
100%.
Or you just put in, someone calls it the long cut instead of the shortcut, spending more time building the person.
Yeah.
To know that, like some of your guys now they're estimators, they're sticking with you for years.
100%.
You're probably good friends with them now.
It's more rewarding. Like you see guys that are coming out of working at a restaurant, getting minimum wage. And like one of my guys, Isaac, he worked at Jack Astor's. He was actually going to go back. He was trying to get a management role there. He didn't get it. So he looked at my ad on Indeed for door-to-door. He made over 6 figures. And it's like, so it's the rewarding aspect of that too. Like, I was kind of falling out of love with my painting company when it's just mundane. It's the same thing, some job site issues, it's a painting business. And I like excitement. So when I flip my perspective on, I'm actually creating a leadership development program inside my business. And now my main focus is I want to find young guys. I want to develop them into killers, into the best versions of themselves. And that made me fall back in love with my company. And then our revenue just showed.
Well, that's something that I've seen you do pretty well, is like you do treat the business as like a leadership development business. Like, don't you put all your team members through the same trainings that you also consult other painting companies on? It's the same thing?
Yeah. So when I built Trade Launchers, our consulting program, I first built it out for my company. So I had trainings for sales reps to learn how to close on the spot, training for door-to-door reps to learn how to knock, live footage so they can see everything. So I created internal SOPs. And then over time, I had people reach out to me. I took some guys on for free to help them coach. I've made multiple 7-figure painting business owners where I just opened up to the public. I was like, hey, you guys can come in, pay this fee, and then they can put their own team through the same stuff that we did, which worked really well. And with culture, like that's the biggest thing. Like for our door-to-door guys, our cold callers or estimators, we create their vision boards as a team. They put it up in their cubicles. Like I like to see where their vision is so I can coach them instead of being a boss that's like trying to control them. I just coach them on where they want to go. And I create a bridge from what their vision is and what my vision for the company is. I try to fit that bridge inside my business. And that allows us to be all in accordance to work towards the same thing.
Well, it's something I think is interesting is a lot of people talk about culture, and a lot of people that don't maybe care about building culture see it as like this woo-woo thing. Everyone needs to have culture in the companies, right? And I remember when I started my business, it was kind of the same thing as you're like, let's run the business, and then culture is like this, ooh, maybe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
For someone that's like needing to implement that, what are the like main first few things that you maybe put together for like a complete raw company?
Yeah. Your culture is going to be a reflection of who you are as a leader. And if you're not a winner, if you're not trying to win in your life, it doesn't matter if you celebrate Stacy's birthday with a cake or you go out to go top golf. If your business is losing, you're not going to create a good culture. So a lot of guys think they can just put these team events and think that's going to build their culture.
Right.
But you need to be an entrepreneur, a leader that wants to grow, that's growing your personal life and reading books and going to the gym and really trying to get more out of life. That's just automatically going to trickle in. So a lot of times if your culture is flawed, it's because as a leader, you're not doing the things that you probably should be doing. And maybe you're telling other people to do those things. So it starts inside. And then as you build that momentum, maybe you hire, Tridas and you start getting more leads and you're actually taking steps to grow your company. Your guys will see that, or you'll attract the people that want to be part of a winning culture. And a lot of times they help create the culture too. So
it's kind of just like leading from the front.
100%.
I think that's like, to be blunt, I think that's what we see with a lot of companies is the companies that you can kind of look at them and be like, oh, these are kind of shitty companies. It's because you can tell the leaders and the owners, they're not holding themselves accountable. They don't actually care. They're just running a business, but they don't understand how to graduate people.
Yeah.
Well.
And they lose that in their long pursuit of business. They just kind of, their sword gets dull and now they can't really cut anything and cut through to someone's heart to lead them. And core values are good too. Like when we first started, we just had random core values. Like most companies, integrity, professionalism, commitment, nice things to say, but that doesn't really register with especially the younger generation. So we switched ours to actually spell out soft because we're very hard-headed. We're going. So our core values are soft. S stands for say it all. We don't leave any stone unturned. We say everything we need to say to each other. We communicate with our clients. We just say everything. Mm-hmm. When text comes in, instead of just liking the message, we say Roger that. Like we want to know communication's happening.
Sure.
And then O stands for outlast, outwork, outlearn, and outcare the competition. F is faith through fire. Our warehouse just burnt down. Our warehouse for all of our company burnt down. And we made that core value before it burnt down. We just revised our core values, but we had faith through the fire. We had faith through fires of lawsuits of when we were losing and when we weren't doing well. But as a team, we had faith through the fire. And then T and soft stands for together. And we're just in this together. So if you can identify your core values, and some of those things are things we need to improve on. We need to improve on communication. So we're going to make that one of our core values and then hold ourselves accountable to it. That's when things start to change, when you take an actual day or a week to dissect your company and think, what do we actually stand for? Or what do we want to stand for? And then lead from that state.
Yeah. I mean, something I've loved about not only having core values, but trying to build that culture is it's also having really good core values is a really, really easy way to bring up problems to your team with actually a reason. So for example, for us, we have routines, ownership and happiness. And let's just say, for example, someone's doing something consistently that's a problem in the business. Well, if it's something that I need to consistently keep handling, that personally makes me unhappy. It doesn't make me happy to lead the business.
Yeah.
So then you can lead the conversations and say, hey, John, you're handling it this way, doing X, Y, and Z, which now I have to fix. It makes me unhappy. And that doesn't go across with our core values. This is how you need to fix it.
Beautiful.
And I think it's a really, really good excuse is to not just bringing someone up and saying, you're doing this wrong, fix it.
Yeah.
But to say, we follow these guidelines. Like if we want people to take ownership, you're not taking ownership. That's not part of the core values. You need to do that.
Yeah. It's great.
It's a really good way to reword it. But
yeah.
I know you guys crush it on the sales. Like obviously building most of your business from door knocking, I think you naturally have to be good at sales and have a good sales process. Run me through like from A to Z. So you knock on a door, you get that lead. We can maybe dive into that.
Yep.
But what's the process after you get a lead and getting them to actually like close on the spot? How do you kind of handle that?
100%. Well, first thing is you're going to want to have multiple channels to get leads. Like, yeah, door-to-door is a great channel. Facebook ads is honestly doing better. When we argue, did better than our door-to-door, which we've been like our foundation, but we didn't get rid of door-to-door. That's a great way too to capture people before they might be looking for quotes because we go out to them.
Sure.
But you want to have different marketing channels. Some leads will be hotter than others. But once you get a lead in, it's all about objection prevention. So if we're going to try to close on the spot, we need to like reverse engineer what things need to be in place for them to say yes on the spot with minimum objections. So, okay, spousal objection. I got to talk to my wife. When you're trying to make them buy, I got to talk to my wife. Okay, spousal objection. In the estimate setup call, we need to get both homeowners home so we combat that objection. Or, just email it to me. I don't have enough time for you to do this whole quote today. Well, that's a timeline objection in terms of timeline of the process of the quote.
How do you handle that then? Let's say you're calling the lead to book in the estimate.
Yep.
How do you, without being a complete dick and forcing it, get both homeowners to be...
Yeah. So you make it more about yourself rather than about them. And it sounds counterintuitive, but if I said, hey, I want both homeowners home so like I can make sure your wife has all her questions answered and you do, they're just going to say, well, I can just answer all the questions. I already know what we want.
Sure.
But if I say, hey, I would like both of you guys there, it just helps us. It's just a process we have so we can understand exactly what you guys need. It's really something that we ask you to. So hopefully we can make that happen. Then it's more on us. They're less like no, because it's like, that's our ask, right? They want a quote from us. So you just flip the script on it. And there's gonna be some times that people don't have both. It's not possible for them. Right. So like typically we ask for both homeowners. If they object, we do a small objection handle to try to get both homeowners again and re-ask. And if they're like, no, absolutely not, we're not going to push them. We're just going to grade that estimate as a different grade, maybe a B or a C, depending on how the rest of the call went. And if we get a lot of leads, we'll just take those Bs out, reschedule the Bs or Cs later, and just cater to the A leads for that week. Of the estimates.
So you kind of tier people and focus.
We tier estimates. And when we have a lot of leads coming, especially in spring and summer, then we'll know, okay, this C one is not pre-closed, and I'll explain what that means. Wife's not going to be there, not really ready to buy. Let's just give him some more time. So we're going to call, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're actually going to push you to next week when a few things come up, and then we'll just put our A estimate there.
Do you do anything where you put your highest quality leads with your best salesperson?
We do more on territories. So we have a guy that's in London. We have a guy that's more in Grand Bend outskirts area. Then we have another guy we're training for Waterloo. And then a few guys in between that will take some other leads that come in.
They're separate on the area.
Yeah. But definitely like I have like my top estimator, and if leads come to me personally, I know where to put them. Okay. But if it's a different geographical, I'll give them to that guy. Okay. So there's a little bit of that, but most of that stuff works out itself. Since they're commission only, if they're not doing well, they typically don't want to stay.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
But yeah, going back to the whole sales process, we want to focus on objection prevention. So the main objections you're going to get is spousal. So having not both homeowners there. So we're going to get that there on the estimate setup call. Trust. So we want to have some form of marketing material or branding that we can bring to the quote with us. We use like a little client manual, before and after photos, reviews, some stories of past clients, things that we can leave them with when we go in our card or write up the quote. That will get them to build more trust with us.
Do you get that kind of professionally printed, like in a little folder, or is it like a flyer?
Yeah, it's a folder. You can do it on a slideshow on your iPad, or you can have like a binder, like a 3-ring binder, and put sheet protectors. I have the full templates in my program. So like the way I build a program is like anything we're doing, take the setup call script, take the marketing materials, rebrand them, like all the stuff's there. But going back to that, so timeline as well. You want to let them know on the setup call how long the quote's going to be. It's going to be about an hour. We'll need you for like the first 10 minutes just to walk around with me, you, and your wife, right? We're not doing the walk around with just one of them. We want to get both of them there so we can build the value with both of them. We're going to go back into our car for about 30 minutes to write up the quote. During that time, we'll leave you with our client manual. You can see some past projects, and then we'll come back inside and sit down with you guys for the last 10 minutes of the quote. Sound good? Good. Okay. So all in all, we need you home for about an hour. You guys got enough time on Saturday at 2:00 for that? Okay, good. That takes the objection away of, I got to run out to my daughter's soccer practice. Just email
You're setting aside the right time.
You're setting aside the right time, and also programming things in by saying we're going to be coming back inside and sitting down. Because a lot of guys don't say that, and then they go to try to close the sale in person. Maybe they're learning, and they knock on the door, and they're like, then they start going through their quote on the front porch. And maybe they didn't already ask permission ahead of time to get inside. So it's a bigger ask when it's your first time meeting them. They're like, let's just sit on the porch.
I think it's like a pretty big subconscious thing to actually have people sit at their kitchen table with you, because there's instantly that trust of like your family, you're sitting with them at the kitchen table.
100%. And if you can't ever get inside, I coach a lot of sales guys on closing on the spot. And if they can't ever get inside for a quote, like they tried everything, okay, then try the garage. Maybe there's an area you guys can sit in the garage. Try the back patio. Maybe you can sit there. If not, what I've done is I literally flipped a recycling bin upside down and like sat with them outside, because at least we can be in the stature of sitting down. We're not standing up ready to leave the sale. We're more grounded. So there's more likely we can have more of a conversation around the price objection or timeline. Exactly. So all those things are big. So you just want to have a good estimate setup call to prevent the objection, set the expectations of the appointment. And then what we do is we do a pre-close.
Yeah.
So we offer a scheduling incentive, a discount on the day of the estimate. And the way we let them know about that ahead of time is on the setup call, we say, okay, perfect. We got a time set for XYZ with you and your husband. Okay, perfect. And do you guys know about our production scheduling incentive? And they say, no. And they say that no curiously. No, what's that? That gives me permission to pre-close them. Well, basically what that is production scheduling is literally the hardest part of any painter's job. So what we do is we actually give you a little bit of a discount if you guys decide to proceed with us on the day of the estimate. It just really helps us out. So obviously if the price makes sense, you trust our team and I would do a good job. Would you be opposed to looking at potentially scheduling it with us on Saturday? No, I wouldn't be opposed. It just depends on the price. It's like, okay, totally fair. So if price was in your ballpark, you'd be ready to go. Yeah. That's the A+ estimate. Both homeowners pre-close. We're going to sell that job.
That's huge. I think that's something that I've learned from you that we like push to a lot of our clients is like, if you can do anything in that estimating call or that setup call, is just try to get some sort of pre-close.
Yeah.
Just to get their wheels in motion of, oh, this is maybe what's going to happen.
Yeah. There's going to be a decision potentially. Yeah, exactly. And then they might say, well, we already have 3 other quotes scheduled, so we're definitely not going to be able to make a decision. So what I would say is, hey, totally fair. That makes complete sense. And I appreciate that. Typically what clients do in the situation is they want us to be the last quote. Just, I believe we're the only company that does this like little discount on the day. So when are you going to get the other quotes by? XYZ time. Okay. Why don't we move this to this time? So at least you can see what ours looks like with the discount. Okay, perfect. And then we usually close that one because we can compare their quotes, build more value and sell them.
It's so interesting that people will run their business for years and do hundreds and thousands of estimates and still allow the same problems and objections to come up and just assume that that's normal.
Yeah.
Like being the last quote, it's like, that's such a simple thing you just said to do, but 99% of people don't do it.
Yeah.
And then they have to do the estimate and then the woman says, oh, I've got 2 more quotes later this week. And they're like, oh, well, fuck, I guess I'll try and call later.
100%. Like, and there's a risk to being the last quote. Like a lot of people combat me with saying, well, what if they go with someone else? Well, that's just based on the pre-close. Like you're going to get an understanding. And maybe it's a really big job and you'd rather just at least show face first. What you can do is called a be-back meeting. So you go, you walk around with both homeowners. Okay, I know you're getting other quotes. This is a bigger job as well. So what I'll do is I'll take this estimate home to the office. We're going to work on it. And then what's a good time that I can come back once you have those other quotes so we can compare apples to apples and you can see what it looks like with our incentive. Okay, this time. So always set the next appointment while I'm at that current appointment. I'm not going to say I'm going to call you when I'm home and we'll set up a time. They might ghost. Communication might fall apart. So always set the next appointment when you're at the current appointment. And that works a lot. Like even with objections you can't solve, or maybe the husband has to leave for daughter's soccer practice midway through the walk around. If the ducks aren't in a row or you think you can sell the job there, set up a be-back. Just create a column in your CRM to be presented and just move over that estimate.
That's huge. I think that's something Hormozy talks about a lot is BAM-FAM, like book a meeting from a meeting.
BAM-FAM,
and even at the very least, if you do a quote and they don't want to sign on the spot, and they maybe need to follow up, a lot of people will just let it float into the air and be like, okay, we'll follow up next week. Even then, I think it's important to say, okay, Sally, is it a good time, 4 p.m. on Friday to give you a call to check in with this? And always give some
calendar,
time.
Email gets tagged. It's a thing. They're more likely to answer, even if they're not going to buy from you or they maybe would have ghosted you if it wasn't there. They know there's a meeting. They at least feel some obligation to, hey, texting, I can't make it. But that still opens up the line of communication on the follow-up again.
It's genuinely so crazy how simple all of this sounds. Yeah. But 99% of people aren't doing it. And I honestly think if you just implemented the basis of this sales process, a lot of companies that aren't doing it could probably double their business.
Oh,
but just learning how to say things slightly differently. It's just words coming out of your mouth can literally double your business.
Yeah. And it's like, there's some bigger companies too that just got by being in business for so long and the word of mouth to have 15, 16 million. There's one company and he's a big guy here that all people talk about. I'm not going to say his name, but he approached me privately. He's like, can you train my whole sales team? He has Grant Cardone training his whole sales team. He's like, I don't like their approach. Yeah. So there's so many, there's always ways to learn and how to tweak things. And you want to go to industry specific. That's why I went with you for Facebook ads over other guys that are doing maybe multiple trades or doing certain things that are more broad. I want to find niche and use it. Rather go to a heart surgery than a family doctor, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been super successful by yourself doing the door knocking stuff. And then also once you've jumped on with Tridas, we've been able to blow you up as well.
Yeah.
What were you doing before you started working with Tridas before we met?
Yeah. So I was still doing Facebook ads with different guys, but I was bouncing from thing to thing to thing. They weren't taking my feedback. Like they weren't really like making adjustments, very long communication responses, using some boring ass ads that I've seen like 5 other guys use the exact same copy. And I'm like, okay, so bounce. Some success. Like Facebook ads, if you have someone that's competent, it'll work.
Yeah.
But then when I saw your results and watched some of your videos and we started chatting on Facebook, and I remember like, it's not like you're not the cheapest guy either. So it was a leap of faith to take. And I'm so glad we did. I remember bringing Mark on. Mark was kind of vetting you out. We were giving you objections. You're a cool, calm, collected professional. And you just have this aura of like, I know this works. So you weren't desperate, which I liked. And that's the same way that we sell. And jumped in. And then I think we did $1 million in like 10 months, like with not even as much ad spend as we're going to be putting in now.
Yeah. You guys are really, really ramping up, especially as you're opening new locations as well. I remember I think you opened Grand Bend and you did like a couple $100,000 in like the first.
Dude, it was like 2 weeks. You're getting us like $13 or $17 leads. I know it's not the average, but we popped up shop in this new location. You pumped ads there. Mark was getting approached, the guy that did the selfie ads, like the celebrity selfie ads, getting approached in the street of being like, oh, we saw your ads, we did $200K in the first 17 days. And that was just huge. Now we're like, okay, this is how we launch a location. We go, we canvas, we do the home show, and we blast Tridas ads. Yeah. And that's what we're doing for our new one now. And now it's like, this is just copy and paste. Like we're going to do 7 this year and we'll probably do 10 the next year. And then who knows what the future holds with this company.
Is that something you've seen a lot of feedback on, is when you do the video ads, you've had a lot of people recognizing the companies more? Dude,
Isaac, he tells a story a lot where he's like, he goes to people's houses, because I like to try our best to give him the leads of his selfie video.
Sure.
So then he can go to the client and then they're like, oh, we saw you on the video. This one lady, she's an older lady. She brought her son down from upstairs. She's like, Jack, or whatever his name was. This is Isaac. We saw him on TikTok. And I think we don't even do TikTok. I think it's Instagram, Facebook, but she's older. And it says Isaac is like the celebrity. More welcoming, lower sales resistance. They already feel like they know us because they see this very like not super professional video that looks like we paid thousands of dollars. It's a very just simple iPhone selfie. Hey, homeowners, we're in the area. Beautiful, beautiful style. It's the same way we approach door to door. But yeah, massive.
It's just personable. Like it's like you said with door to door. It's like you're not doing this weird high production thing with door to door. It's just, you're just local, friendly people that are chatting. It's like, that's the same with the selfie videos.
That's why we vibe so much, because I already know that approach works. So for like, if we take that almost door to door approach and put it online, it was just like a perfect fit.
And I think the thing is as well, I'm a big believer that like every single form of marketing works. Like we spoke to a company this week that's doing like 10.5 million a year and they don't even have a website. And it's not like they're doing commercial, like they're doing residential, but they still don't have a website.
Yeah.
Just like every form of marketing works. It's just like, how are you going to make it work for you? It's not a question of if it works. Like you're crushing it with door knocking and Facebook ads. I know one guy that's spending $60K a month on flyers. Yeah. And that's all he does as well. And some people run flyers and say, oh, flyers don't work.
Yeah. Well, they did like 500 flyers. Yeah.
The trick is to go like a mile deep and actually become the absolute fucking killer at that thing. Yeah. And then it's going to work for you.
Yeah, we have a lot of different ways we market. Like home shows are massive. We followed kind of Hormozy's framework, how to run a home show with the raffle giveaways, similar to what you did at PCA. And that works really well at home shows. We do like, once we get leads from door to door or Facebook or wherever the leads come in from, we have like voicemail drops, texting campaigns. We scrape lists of realtors and interior designers and home stagers and property managers and get their emails, their phone numbers, just getting that information online. And we just blast them out emails. We have cold calling teams going. So you want to have different rods in the water too. And then once you find what's really working, just double down on that. But I always love having multiple streams so I can touch different people in their different buying phases and warm them up. Maybe they don't buy now, but now they're more top of mind.
I think that's something I've noticed from you, is you're obviously very heavy on investing in your own growth, and you're also investing in these other big companies and these big sales companies, and you see how they operate. Yeah. And it seems like you're treating your company more and more like a sales and marketing company that just so happens to sell painting. Yeah. What does your team structure look like now? Because you're not on the day-to-day, you're not painting, you're not doing the estimates. What does your team look like?
Yeah, so I brought in a partner to the company that he's more bullish on more in the field, getting things done. That's Mark, and he's an absolute weapon. And then there's Joe as well. Joe is the head of production. He has 2 PMs under him. 1 PM manages our subs. 1 PM manages our in-house crews. Each in-house crew is a crew of 3. One is a crew lead that deals with more of the day-to-day management on that site. Then we have a production admin, so an admin that's responsible for helping with scheduling, calling clients, giving them the welcome emails and welcome calls when they become a client. So they're more production or like after sale to final check collection admin. Then we have the admin on sales, which they're more of from lead to sale closed admin. So managing the CRM, doing setting calls. And then from there, we have the door-to-door team. We have the Facebook ads, all these different ways to market. But that is like, that's been a development process. And from like learning from Patrick Bet-David or Alex Hormozy or these guys and like seeing like, okay, if you treat your business like a company, you will produce company results. You have to invest in marketing. You have to hire the right people. You have to have cadences and processes and onboarding forms. Or you start trade lunch and I just give you all that shit.
Yeah, or you just get the stuff that's already worked.
Yeah, but and that's the beauty of it. Like you'll find whether it's myself or like other people, you'll find people that have already done things that you probably want to do. And if you just pay them to just get, 3 to 5 years ahead of time, you're just now buying your time back, which is the most valuable thing as a business owner.
I think that's the trick. Unless you're trying to create like the next Facebook or the next ChatGPT, like everything that you want to do has already been done and the road has already been paved.
Yeah.
You just need to find the people that have already done it. You can spend 10 years trying to figure it out, or you can do what you did and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars learning from the best.
Yeah.
Or you can just do what the rest of the painters are doing, which is leverage the hundreds of thousands of dollars you've spent maybe.
Yes.
And just leverage the stuff you've learned.
Yeah.
Rather than spending hundreds of thousands of dollars with you.
Yeah.
You can just pass that information on. You've already tested it. You've done it for years. You've run a big company.
And the good thing is most painters don't do any of that.
Yeah.
So the competition is so slim that you can just come in and crush. Like if you're watching this video and you're thinking about new ways to do it, if you just take action on some of the stuff, you will automatically be operating as a 2% company in this industry. Which is why it's so awesome. Like just seeing all these top level guys at the PCA, it's like, there's not only 1,000 painting contractors in the world. There's like 200, 300, 400 millions probably. I don't know about in Australia. Like guys are coming out from Aussie, and like, there's just like 1% are learning this stuff. Yes. Even from the people here, not everyone knows.
It's the same in life. It's like, it's not hard to be like a top 1% human if you just look after yourself. If you go to the gym, if you eat good, you're automatically in the top 1%.
Yeah.
Same with your business. If you just do the basic stuff, you improve your sales process, you build your culture, you lead a good team.
Yeah.
It's not hard to open this gap between you and the competition that there isn't really much local competition.
And then you can buy the competition. We bought one of our top competitors because we could, and because they weren't keeping up to date and they wanted to move, and they had key man risk. Their owners running all the things, and you couldn't really have enterprise value. So you come in with a low offer, negotiate. You can buy other companies that aren't doing the things you're doing, and you kind of help them out of their misery because they're probably going to go to business at some point anyway. And you use your past clients, reach out to them. There's so many ways to get creative in this industry.
That's huge. I think you've definitely crushed it, and hey, you're still young and you've got so much time to figure out the next few steps, whether you grow the company to 50 million or you grow it and sell it, whatever it is. I think that a lot of people can learn a lot from you, not just from the information you give, but also how you just present yourself and how you lead as a person, because that's how you lead your team and the people around you as well, which is huge.
It's so good to have, it's sorry to cut you off, but it's so good to have a team that holds you accountable. Like, as you're saying this stuff to me, there's a part of my mind being like, it's not just me though. And not to sound this like righteous or like super humble, but it's just genuine. Like my team will come back at me, be like, hey, you're not living by the core values, or like, you're not doing this, or like, hey, we need more of your time. Like you're doing this coaching stuff. We need more of your time. And I love that. That's why we say it all. We can communicate with each other. We can have hard conversations, and like, but I have a team that sees the vision. Like a few of my guys, they at some point want to run their own company, but they've been chatting to me like, bro, don't worry. Like I'm in it for the long run still. And maybe in the future I'll do my own thing, but they just love it. But that's because they have put in the work to get success and not just expected me to do things for them. So it's just a massive team thing. If you can find the right people, that's why I love door-to-door. It's like almost a shit test. If they can last through door-to-door, like they're going to be able to do any thing in your company. But having the right recruiting ads, and like when you write it in ad on Indeed, don't just be boring. Like sales is sales is not just selling clients, it's selling people to work for you, which are the biggest sale, because they can produce recurring revenue by producing or managing $1 million a year of production, or selling $1 million a year over year. That's the biggest sale. So when you write your job ad, you want to talk to that avatar first. So instead of saying who we are as a company, we're this painting business, we're this, all my Indeed ads, it's who you are. You're someone that strives for greatness. You're looking for a company that you can grow in. You value self-development. I talk to the ideal avatar. So when that one person reads it, like, oh, this is me. And then they apply. So it's everything sales, everything's marketing.
It's like you mentioned, I think everyone's focused on selling jobs, but you don't realize that you also have to sell your team on the vision. And that's how you've been able to get great team members that can hold you accountable. Is if you don't, I see so many companies and I look at their team And like, without being blunt, you can look at their team and you can tell they're just not operating well just from looking at how their team cares about themselves, how they talk to each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, every business is a people business. You have to be a great leader. You have to sell people on why they should work for you.
Yeah.
Make sure that their vision and dreams are within your greater vision so you can suffice for it as well.
And it's so good. Like even your core value of ownership, like something I tell my guys, especially on production and painting side, is like, this is the power finger. Like wherever you point the finger is where you give power. So if you're blaming someone like, oh, you didn't do this or you didn't do that, instead turn it around and be like, I could have done this better
what can you do differently
to help this problem. It's like, then you give yourself back the power when you blame other people. So like all these things are so important when building a team. And something that Brandon Vaughn said, he runs Wise Coatings and Hirebus. He's a genius when it comes to building teams. He's like, you're the people that work for you, those are your internal customers. If you can give your internal customers the most value, which is your team, they're going to go give your external customers even more value. So like team events like you do to Costa Rica and all these things. And we went to Costa Rica with our team too, paintball and like book club and doing 75 hard together. Like that's how you can give more value to them, which will just automatically literally raise your revenue.
Yeah, that's the best thing we did was when we had our first team trip and everyone met in a non-business setting. And it was like, now they're friends. Now they've built this culture. Now they feel like subconsciously they don't want to leave and they want to, Jimmy's work actually impacts work and actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
Just like they're doing their own roles. It's like, I don't want Sarah to have a shit life and make less money. So I need to do even better as well.
It's the same thing with the painters. When I finally got my estimators to meet the painters, it's like, dude, you're helping XYZ guy feed his family and support his kids.
Those you haven't meet.
Yeah. So then it's like, damn. Because especially when we have team events, like we'll do like an orientation every year. We do some board breaking with the sales guys. And then they just see like, you're helping him feed his family. And it's like, now it's that you sell from a different place, which is just huge to connect your team on all the different avenues and put them together.
It's huge. Well, listen, man, I think you've provided a ton of value to start wrapping this up a little bit. Obviously, you're an incredible partner with Tridas. You guys are crushing it. Anyone maybe thinking about working with Tridas, what would you say to anybody that's maybe on the fence about partnering with Tridas?
I would say if you're on the fence and you don't want to feel like you're getting sold to by you or because that's, in your best interest to sign them on, like talk to me, or I have so many guys that I've referred to Tridas. So you could be like, who have you referred? How have they done? I'll be like, hey, Humberto, Dennis, this. And then you can look at some of their stories or just chat with me about it. But I would just say, if you're ready to take a leap, there's tons of marketing agencies. If you vibe with this, if you're already watching this for this long, this is going to be the right fit for you. So I would just jump in.
What can people do to find you? What's the best way to find you?
So I have a bunch of free resources. If you want to learn how to do door-to-door in your painting company or any company that you have, we have a free school community. So it has like that estimate setup call we talked about, the full word-for-word scripts in there. We have a bunch of testimonials and case stories, and then the whole door-to-door masterclass. We could put in the link. It's just going to be our school community. So it'll be like Justin's school. They can go in.
Sure. Yeah. We'll chuck in the link. And,
I do a free call with everyone that comes into. So I just look at their business, give them some feedback. I have some calculators I can give them so they can plan out their revenue. And it's more of just like, hey, this is our free community. Welcome. And it helps people. So
yeah, there you go. If people are interested in listening to part of this podcast, they'll get more value from you one-on-one.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think this has been pretty valuable. I think it's almost feasibly impossible for people not to take some nuggets out of this. Hopefully, if you watch this whole thing and you haven't taken anything, then you're probably not going to go anywhere in your business. But man, I'm proud to see you as a great partner of Tridas. You're killing it, and also proud to consider you a friend. And I'm excited to see what you guys do in the next 5 years.
Absolutely, and you buy I didn't even know you bought dinner the other day. You're just a classy guy. That's why I really appreciate you, and your business shows from how you are. So I'm a lifer with Tridas, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, see you guys soon.